Well, I'm getting ready to put the upper part together, so I'm going to bore these holes right here in the cone. And if we look over here on the recipe, number 15, it says dry fit post in seat and mark drilling angle in cone. That probably should be drilling angle on cone, although you drill it in the cone, but it should be on cone, by spring clamping post to front of the cone. So I'm going to put the post in and then mark, these go 3/4 deep. Those are 3/8 holes that go 3/4 deep, and I'll mark the 3/4 mark there, and then taking little spring clamps, I'll spring clamp the post onto the front of the cone, and that's going to give me that angle, because I don't know what that angle is, and I like to get it straight off the chair, because I like to build the chair to itself instead of telling the chair what it needs to be. It can tell me. So we'll mark that, and then we'll drill them. And so the first thing I got to do is get the posts have been in the kiln. So I'm going to get, because I like to keep them shrunk down, so I'm going to take them out of the kiln and grab the cone, which is sitting up on top of the kiln, and then we'll get to work on it. Okay, so the things are hot. Posts are in here. So there's the spindles, but we don't need spindles right now, so we're going to leave we'll just leave the spindles in there, and because humidity's high, you bring them out here and they'll start swelling up, so you might as well, you got to keep them somewhere, so you might as well just keep them there. Okay, let's go over to the bench, and oh, my cone's up here. There we go. Got that. It's just been hanging out up there. Well, let's see. Let's get us a little mark here first. Let's see, where's the front of this thing? What's that on the right side? It'll be like that. So let's put a little mark. Well, come on. So we'll mark it 3/4. I've got these oriented, but you can't be turning them around. Well, mark them on the back side like that. Okay, so if you can see that, that's my 3/4 mark there, and let's put that to the side right now. We've got the cone, and we've got our center mark here. And this point right here on the cone, I measure, if you look on the plans, that's kind of left, it's not rounded, it's kind of left like a corner there. And I come an inch back from that. And now, just to make sure, get my dividers here, to make sure that they're the same from the center, because I could have lost this mark over here with the draw knife. I use a pair of dividers. Yeah, I have a mark there from, I guess, from the pattern. And then find the middle. You can measure it if you want. And I'll put a little tick mark on the front. Right like that. Now let's get the chair back. Okay, so I'm gonna, there's the mark for where the hole's gonna be bored. So it will be lined up this way on the post, just dead in the center of the post. And then the comb will be sitting down at that level. Well, it's not quite there, but I'll adjust it. So over here you can see that the post needs to be pulled out just a tad bit. And then I got to pull this one out just a little bit to make it fit. Now that's all really in the design of the chair, because you want to err on the side, and I've said it before, you want to err on the side of the post possibly being slightly in. Since we, eyeball all this stuff and drill it by eye and then ream it by and everything, it might not be perfect up here at the top. And so I would rather it be inside, say 1/4 of an inch or so, which is what this was, to where I have to pull them out and you get a real, just a slight bow on those posts out, which looks good instead of in. And you don't want too much, but 1/4 inch, fine, 1/2 inch probably be fine. Hey, now I got that spring clamped up there. Now I can take the pencil and run it in just right beside it on that side and right beside it on that side. And then using those lines to go by, just come off of my point I made that I'm going to drill into. And there's my angle. There we go. Okay, I'll move this out of the way and set up on the bench and bore this stuff. Well, I'm going to bore these 2 holes. Now I got to have reference points, so I have one that's angled this way. But what about this way? Well, if we go back to what I was saying when I designed the chairs, and I do the comb back like this too, is I like for the back of the comb and the back of the spindle to be in the same plane. So that does a few things. One is I like the way it looks. When you look at the chair from the side, I like it being in the same plane going up. The other is it makes it easy to drill, because we've just got to set this up square, right like that, on the table, on the bench, and then I can just drill a plumb hole. We have it. So that's what I'll do right now. And I got some shims here. Figured this out earlier, so, well, figured out the amount of shims, not this process. I've always done this process. Okay, so right like that. So if we put it, maybe you can see it like that. So this is kind of a compromise, because the back is not perfect. One is I shaped it with a draw knife, and the other is a steam bent it. So if I put the square up right there, I've got a little bit of light showing at the top of the comb, which is down near the bench. And as I come around over here, it changes, and I get a little bit of light up here at the top. And then if I come around this way, that's perfect. And now I have a little bit of light. I have a little bit of light right there, and then that's perfect. So anyway, if you're off too much, then you could come out the back or the front with your drill bit. So
You don't want to do that. And if you've got a twist in it, where you're off real bad, whereas this side you got a big gap on the top, and over here you got a big gap on the bottom, then about the only thing to do is to put it back in your form and wedge it on one side or on both sides, opposite, and clamp it down and twist it back. Put a heat gun on it and twist it back, and that will get it. I've had to do that before. But this is going to work right here. So let's pull it around, and I can, let's see. Because there's a lot of little variables determining whether that's going to be plumb and even all the way around. Okay, and got a 3/8 bit. I got to double check that thing numerous times, make sure I have a 3/8 bit, because I've grabbed the wrong bit before and drilled 7/16 hole there, and that kind of ruins everything. So I want it square that way, because I've got the back like that, and I'm just going to look and follow my line right there, and I'm going to bore it 3/4 of an inch. I don't know how many turns that is on this. I should have checked that. Let's say it's maybe look at maybe do 15. I think that might be close, and then I'll check. I think my hole is off a little bit because I didn't measure it since I just did it by eye. There we go. That looks better. So let's see where we are. And look down through there. Okay, that's 15. See. Air compressor there. Let's see what I got. At least another turn. There we go. 16 or 17, choose one. Okay. So there we go. Now one thing I noticed, my post, is that I haven't sized that tenon yet to 3/8. Just barely goes up in there. And I haven't put the spokeshave finish on these posts. Now I've shown you how to do the spokeshave finish on the other stuff, so I'm not going to waste time to show you on this. And then I'll just, well, how I size that tenon depends. If I can put this in the lathe and it turns true, then I'll size it on the lathe. But I don't know if that's going to turn true or not. They rarely do after sitting out this long. Otherwise, I'll just size it with the spoke shave to the cone. But after I do all that, then I'll come back.